I'm going to rant on TNA. I'm sick and tired of hearing TNA fans keep trying to put over the fact that they're a better product than WWE right now. I'm sick of hearing all this shit about, oh, TNA is better than WWE. Oh, TNA is going to take over the WWE in a few years. Oh, TNA has been outstanding. Yada, yada, yada. I'm sick of it. TNA is shit. They're never ever going to surpass the WWE. No matter what they do, they could change their show to 3 hours. They can go live. They could change their time on when they want to air. They could travel all around the world and actually do shows in different venues now, in different states. It's not doing a damn thing for TNA. Nothing they do at this point is going to work. And there was a report earlier this month saying that Eric Bischoff is done with the wrestling business and that he really is not doing much with TNA anymore. That he went to endeavor in other areas of his life. He's handling other business right now. He's not doing any wrestling stuff. He pretty much said that he's done with professional wrestling. And you know what? That's good for Eric Bischoff. I'm glad that he sees the shithole TNA has become because he knows there's nothing he can do to help TNA anymore. Not even he, who is so arrogant and smart and speaks so high of himself, even he knows that there's nothing to save TNA. He knows he's not the solution for TNA. But Hulk Hogan, on the other hand, is a different story. Hulk Hogan doesn't realize the fact that he is not the answer for TNA. He cannot help out TNA no matter what he tries to do. He is not the savior of TNA because Hulk Hogan is no Vince McMahon. He's no Ted Turner. I'm sick and tired of people saying that TNA is the best or TNA this and TNA that. Can WWE just buy TNA already so we don't have to hear any fucking ignorance from these wrestling fans that watch TNA and are so high and full of themselves saying that they're better than WWE? Especially the guys like Hogan saying saying things like that as well. Eric Bischoff sees TNA for what it is, and it has become a shithole. Basically, he's done with professional wrestling. He's moved on, and Bischoff has accomplished everything there is to accomplish in the wrestling business. He has no reason to continue doing any of this at all. He already had a wonderful career in WCW, even though I don't give him credit for anything that happened in WCW. But he was part of the reason why it was successful, and he's very fortunate to have accomplished what he did in the wrestling business. And he really has no reason to be in TNA anymore because all it's doing is wasting his time. He could be using all that time for something else that's more important in his life. Hulk Hogan, on the other hand, I pity him because he doesn't realize the disaster that he's going to fall into. He's basically repeating history all over again. He doesn't realize he's going to fail once again, just like he failed with WCW when Vince McMahon bought it out. If Hulk Hogan was a solution for TNA, if he was really helping TNA, fixing it, turning it around, don't you think the ratings would be skyrocketing by now? Don't you think the ratings would be high? I mean, let's face it. Hulk Hogan, the reason why he stays in TNA is to make money. And what does he do with that money ultimately? He doesn't do anything with that money for TNA. He uses that money to basically buy products for whatever else he's selling. The side projects. That's what Hulk Hogan wants. He uses the money TNA pays him to build other products, to build other brands, to work on his other businesses that he has on the side besides TNA. He doesn't do jack shit with that money for TNA. He does nothing with that money. They pay him to sit on his ass and do nothing because Hulk Hogan does nothing. He's not a great businessman. He is not Vince McMahon. You got to remember, Hulk Hogan has to learn what the difference is between being an on-air talent and being a businessman. And he thinks that he can do both, which he can't. The guy's in his 60s, 50s, whatever the fuck he is, and he thinks he can still wrestle. And then he thinks he has the mind of Vince McMahon. No. Being a wrestler and having power just doesn't work well. It hasn't worked well for Hulk Hogan at all. And he needs to realize that. And a big reason why WCW was such a success, it wasn't because of Hulk Hogan. It was because of Ted Turner and all the money he had. That guy was a billionaire. He was able to use all that money to sign all the free agents that were leaving WWE because he was able to afford any of those talents that were leaving WWE. Hence why they were able to buy Bret Hart, and hence why WWE ultimately had to let go of Bret Hart because Ted Turner had all this money to buy Bret Hart, money that not even WWE had at the time. So he was able to buy out Mr. McMahon and do a lot of shit. And why else was WCW successful? Yeah, you could say the NWO, but the NWO wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for the talent that Ted Turner brought in, that he produced and brought into his company. So Hulk Hogan is not the reason why WCW was successful, because when he went to WCW and he was a babyface at first, the ratings were not changing at all. The ratings were the same for WCW. When Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and all these other former WWE guys started walking into WCW, that's when the ratings started getting higher. But Hulk Hogan wasn't the reason why WCW was so huge. It was because of Ted fucking Turner. It was his creation to do the NWO. Period. I don't care what anybody says. And he gave Eric Bischoff the money to get guys like Nash and Hall. That's what happened. But now Hulk Hogan thinks that because of his NWO days and his Hulkamania days, that all of a sudden he can create magic, and in one night he thinks he can save a wrestling company and give them everything they ever wanted. That's not how this works. Hulk Hogan is not a god. He's not God like he thinks he is. He's not worth what TNA is paying him. He's not that high of an asset. He's not that high of a value that TNA thinks he is. Because if he was, like I said, TNA would be on top. They're not on top. They're going down, down, down. No matter what they do at this point, nothing is going to save TNA. And Hulk Hogan fails to realize this. He's delusional, just like Dixie Carter. The only smart one there, who I give props to, is Eric Bischoff, because that son of a bitch knows that TNA is going to die, and he's not going to die with TNA. He's basically going to let the company die on its own. Ric Flair is another smart one who saw where things were heading in TNA, the direction they were going, and he fucking left TNA and he re-signed with WWE. And that's ultimately what's going to keep happening with these other guys who see the pattern that TNA is in. That the guys who are going to leave TNA are going to realize that they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. It's going to keep sinking and sinking and sinking until the ship has finally drowned. And that's what's going to happen with TNA, guys. Period. You know, Hulk Hogan thought that by bringing himself and Eric Bischoff to the equation back in late 2009 and early 2010, that it was going to work, just like in WCW. You don't repeat the past, Hulk Hogan. You're a fucking idiot. And he basically wanted Bischoff to do all his work. That's why Hulk Hogan brought him in, because he knows that he can't do the work on his own. In WCW, Hulk Hogan needed Ted Turner to make him look good. He needed someone on his side to promote him and promote him and promote him and build him up, so ultimately Hulk Hogan could make all this money and become a star. Just like in WWE with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon turned Hulk Hogan into the star that he is because Vince McMahon had the money to promote Hulk Hogan to be the star that he was. Same thing in WCW. But TNA doesn't have a Ted Turner. TNA doesn't have a Vince McMahon. TNA doesn't have any of that, and hence why they're failing. Hence why Hulk Hogan is not the answer for TNA, because there's no one in that fucking company that can build Hulk Hogan to be this huge draw. It's just not going to work. You need a shitload of money, first of all, to invest these fans into this product. Vince McMahon and Ted Turner had the money to produce talent out of their ass. TNA doesn't have that money to make Hulk Hogan look good. So that's basically it, guys. TNA can go fuck itself. redoing the NWO with the Aces and Eights. And I don't care if they're the Aces and Eights. I don't care if they're different from the NWO or they have different costumes on or they don't dress alike. It's the same shit. It's rehash. Because they did Immortal not too long ago. They did Fortune not too long ago. They did the Main Event Mafia. How many times is TNA going to fucking try and do this thing? Not to mention EV 2.0. How many times are they going to do these takeover angles, these invasion angles in TNA? It's like the 1000th time they've done it. And let's face it, that's basically what Hogan's motto is, to create another NWO, because he thinks that by creating another NWO, like, it's going to work and be a huge success like it was the first time in WCW. Things change, Hulk Hogan, you stupid idiot. I'm out, guys. Peace out.